Hello everyone, welcome to Umbrella Thoughts, where we talk about all things you feel like you can't say out in the rain. I am your host Brizen, and today we'll be going over a submission someone sent in from the last video. Hi Brizen, just wanted to say the first video for Umbrella Thoughts was so insightful and hit home to a lot of the things that I always had trouble with. So much so that I cried a bit. I've always constantly struggled with a lot of the subjects that you spoke about, and hearing someone else put it into words in such a clear way when I never really could was refreshing to listen to. You're really good at putting thoughts or emotions into digestible words. It's admirable. I'm also very glad to hear that you're doing better. Thank you. Sorry that ended up kind of long. Now on to the question. Do you have any ideas on how to be kinder to yourself? Sometimes people have a higher standard for themselves, so when they make a mistake, they heavily punish themselves for it. I was curious on what has really helped you regarding that topic, and what your guest thinks if you have one. Thanks for your time. Okay, before I start, I just want to say thank you for the submission, because I honestly wasn't expecting to get a submission, even like any submissions from the first video. So like, just seeing one made me incredibly happy. So thank you to whoever sent this. And also like, I kind of teared up when I first read this. It made me so happy. I was like, oh my god. Thank you though. I really do appreciate your kind words, and don't worry about it being too long. I appreciate that you putting in the time and effort to say all of these things. I really do appreciate that. Like, it makes me very happy that I was able to help a bit. I'm not someone that'll like have the answers to everything. I'm just simply expressing my thoughts and feelings, and if that helps y'all in some way, then that makes me incredibly happy. So thank you for the submission. I'm honestly very happy that I was able to, I don't know, bring you some peace of mind with my little rant. Like, it honestly made my day, so thank you so much. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like being kinder to yourself is for sure a very difficult thing to do. I feel like trying to get out of the habit of punishing yourself is very hard, especially if you've done it for so long, right? But I think it's important to ask why you're doing that to yourself. Like, why do you feel like you deserve being punished? Is it because you hate yourself? Is it because you don't feel like you deserve that kindness? Or maybe it's because you're not really sure of how to be kind to yourself? And why do you have such high standards for yourself? Is it because you constantly compare yourself? Is it because you feel like you're not really doing enough? I think it's something you should really ask yourself and think about. I was at this phase in my life where I was very heavily judgmental of myself, and like I would punish myself heavily for the things that I do wrong, or like I wouldn't let myself do certain things. But I don't know, like I feel like I did that because I just hated myself. It really just came from the fact that I just like thought that it was something that I should be comfortable with, but it wasn't really a healthy way of thinking about it. And of course, it's not something that you just get out of. I think it's something you have to realize, like, hey, it's like you're not really benefiting from punishing yourself so heavily, Like, I feel like if you're doing that to yourself, how are you able to be so kind to others? But if you're trying to look for that pleasure of freeing that burden of self-hatred, I think it's better to just realize, like, hey, it's okay to like allow yourself to be happy in these certain things. Like, you're allowed to want things, you're allowed to want to be loved, and it's hard for you to admit those things. Like, I think it's not like that simple. It's not like a one and done type of thing, right? Because I get that, like, it's all like a very like, it takes time to realize these things. Because what really helped me was thinking about why I thought I deserved to punish myself for these things. Why I thought that having these high standards were fair for myself. Like, I get maybe you want to be a better person. Like, you're kind of struggling to accept the person you are. And you're just wanting to... Like, it's hard for you to realize that... we have these high standards for ourselves because we're like, people expect us to succeed, or like you want yourself to succeed so bad, and like you think that because we've been like given this idea of ourselves for so long, we think that every time we try something and we fail at it, we deserve to be punished, or we feel less than what we are because we didn't get it on our first try. But I think that's okay. You just have to accept that it's okay to be bad at some things. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's really hard. Like, I completely understand like the punishing yourself part for having high standards. Like, my mental was horrible. Like, I hated like giving myself any sort of reassurance or letting myself make any kind of mistake, because I felt like if I did, then I'd be seen as like people would judge me for that for some reason. I don't know. I think being kind to yourself is something more than that. Kindness, that word kindness is very like, it's been trampled a lot, and I feel like people misunderstand the direction they have with that word. Nowadays, people they just expect something for being kind nowadays. Like, they expect something back. And kindness is hard to give and to receive, because I feel like the world has been so cruel to us that we feel like we don't deserve anything better. Especially with everything that's been weighing us down. I don't really have like a good answer for you. You have to think about whether it's worth having higher standards for yourself and punishing yourself for those mistakes. Is it worth doing that? Is it worth feeling like you don't deserve to give yourself kindness? Is it worth making yourself believe you're never gonna be good enough to give yourself kindness? I think you're good enough. I think it's okay to let yourself believe that you deserve kindness. I think it's okay to let yourself like free yourself of these burdens that you have. Maybe whether these high standards or this like self-comparison maybe comes from like the people around you, or what you see in other people, or how less you see of yourself. It's okay for you to want to admit that you want to accept kindness, that it's okay for you to want something back, but I don't think you should be, but I think you shouldn't have the intention of being kind expecting something back. I think people need to realize that being kind is just that. Like, you're being kind because you just want to be. Like, it's okay for you to be giving without expecting, like, it's okay for you to be giving as long as you know that you're not gonna get anything back. Because if that person ends up not giving you anything back, you're being kind of selfish, right? And that was something I needed to admit to myself too. Having high standards is something I feel like we unintentionally do to ourselves, because maybe it's something that we were like, maybe it's something we grew into, maybe it's something we always had to believe growing up. But I believe that you deserve to be kind. Like, I'm proud of you. You probably worked really hard doing what you could to try to prove yourself wrong, and you know, maybe some things don't work out and you just give up because you just don't want to like disappoint yourself further. But I think it's worth giving yourself many chances, because no one's a bigger critic than yourself. And I think that's very true for anything, for everyone, because whether we do something, whether we try doing something, we feel like we're not doing enough of that because we just want to be perfect at something. And I think that's okay, because that's what strives us to be better. But I don't think we should punish ourselves for, having a start line. I feel like it's necessary for us to make mistakes, because I feel like if we don't let ourselves make mistakes, then how will we know whether we're doing a good job? Like, for example, we could be working a factory job and we wouldn't know how to work certain things, but we try doing it anyway. We wouldn't know if we're doing it right or wrong, right? We have to go through the wrongs to know we're doing the right. And that's why I think you shouldn't have such high standards for yourself. But of course, like, me saying that, like, just don't have high standards for yourself. Like, it's not that easy, I know. I really mean it when I say this. Like, I truly understand what you mean, because I know where you're coming from, because I used to heavily punish myself for even the smallest of things, and I had such high standards for myself, and I wanted to be this person. I wanted to be so bad. Like, I refused to accept that I was flawed, that I just had to accept that I can make mistakes. I'm not a perfect person. Like, even though, like, as much as I hate myself, I have to accept that, like, this is my start line. that this is how I have to start, being kind to myself. How I have to start realizing that having high standards isn't fair. And it wouldn't be fair if I expect myself to, think that I could be a millionaire within like a week of like trying to, start a business. It takes time. It all takes time. There is no shortcut to kindness. Kindness is built on the pure thoughts you have. Whether you want to help someone, whether you want to do something for someone, or, like whether you want to be able to prove yourself wrong. If you want to be kinder to yourself, I think that's already a good step. Because if you want to be kind to yourself, then I think you're already doing a good job of questioning whether it is fair for you to be having such high standards for yourself. If you show a lot of kindness to the people you love, right? Do you think that kindness would feel empty if if you're loathing yourself so much? That's something that I feel like I still think about. Like, I don't know if it's fair of me to be so kind to everyone else, but not be kind to myself. But is it because I want them to be kind to me back? Or is it because I'm simply doing that because I love them, And I had to think about that for a while. And I still do think about it, I always wonder whether the kindness I give to the people I love is empty because of the fact that I'm not even being kind to myself. Does that mean that I want them to be kind to me back? Or, like, am I actually being kind? I think I still question that to this day. Whether I expect something or I'm just purely doing it because, like, I want to be nice. But I think I realize, like, kindness is something that we all need. We do need in our lives, but it's not something we should weaponize in our life. We shouldn't use that as a way to put a band-aid on something in ourselves. Because, band-aids eventually peel off. They eventually weather down and they get smelly. Whereas I feel like that pure kindness that comes from also that self-love you gave yourself, like, that kindness is good because it comes from you, and you can be good if you're doing your best to be kind to yourself and be fair to yourself. And I think that kindness would actually end up being a good way to heal those wounds that you have on yourself. Sure, maybe some things have made you think that you're not worth it. You're not worth having that kindness or worth earning that kindness. But I think if you're trying so hard or trying enough to want you to question whether you want to be kind to yourself or not, and you're asking me how to be kinder to yourself, I think you're already doing a good job. If you want to be kinder to yourself, think about whether it will be worth doing that in maybe 10, 20, 30 years in your life. Do you always want to be unfair to yourself? Do you always want to reject the idea of having the wants you want, like having things you really want in your life, being able to achieve the things you want in your life? But I think in reality, we all really want to feel happy. And I think we need to give ourselves another chance to maybe grow from the mistakes that make us believe we don't deserve kindness. Thank you for your submission. I hope my rambling holds some sort of value to you. And if anyone else wants to submit a question, then they can do so in the description. And all of your submissions will be anonymous, including to me, so no one will know who you are. Don't worry. Thank you guys for watching or listening, whichever one. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and stay safe and be kind to yourself, because kindness is something that's really hard to find nowadays. And I think it's even harder to find that for yourself. So show some love to yourself and to the people you love. I hope you enjoyed this video.